The investigation. Detectives from Liverpool and the Homicide Squad immediately launched a joint investigation. The precision of the attack suggested this was far beyond typical gang violence. The State Crime Command's Criminal Groups Squad established Strike Force Hackenberg to lead the case. The challenges were immense. The burned-out cars destroyed valuable evidence, and the shooters had taken every precaution, wearing gloves, leaving no DNA, and communicating through encrypted devices. Detectives had to analyze hundreds of hours of CCTV footage across Sydney to trace their movements. Investigators determined that at least 7 people were involved in the operation, each with a specific role. Some carried out surveillance, others stole vehicles, and 2 men acted as the shooters. A single organizer coordinated every detail. The breakthrough came from combining traditional detective work with modern technology. Phone records revealed communication chains between suspects, while financial data exposed payments linked to the murder. Several witnesses later came forward, some reluctantly, out of fear of retaliation. In March 2024, police arrested a 23-year-old man in Glen Alpine, southwest Sydney. He was identified as the gunman who fired the fatal shots. He was charged with murder at Campbelltown Police Station. Over the following months, police arrested 9 more people, each connected to different parts of the plot, stealing vehicles, disposing of evidence, and aiding the killers. The charges included murder, accessory to murder, and participation in a criminal organization. Still, the true mastermind remained at large, a figure who allegedly directed the entire operation from within prison. Sydney's gang war context. To understand Marvin Ora's murder, one must look at the broader conflict engulfing Sydney's underworld. The year 2023 saw record levels of gang-related violence as organized crime groups battled for control of the city's billion-dollar drug trade. Sydney is one of the world's top consumers of cocaine and methamphetamine, with prices among the highest globally due to Australia's isolation from major drug production centers. The profits are enormous and competition is fierce. The primary conflict pitted the Comanchero Motorcycle Club and their allies, the Alamedan crime network, against the Hamzy clan and their group known as Brothers for Life. The rivalry has claimed more than 20 lives between 2020 and 2023. After Alan Murhey's death, a new wave of revenge killings erupted. In July 2023 alone, 5 targeted shootings took place in a single week. Among the victims was high-profile criminal lawyer Mahmoud Abbas, who was shot and injured outside his home in Greenacre on July 26th. Sydney's gang war had reached a breaking point, and Marvin Ora's execution was both a symptom and a signal that the violence was far from over. A deadly week in Sydney's gang war. Just hours after the murder of Marvin Ora, a 28-year-old man was gunned down on Broughton Street in Canterbury, the 5th targeted shooting in a single week. In response, New South Wales Police established Task Force Magnus, deploying over 100 specialist officers to investigate the growing links between the shootings and Sydney's organized crime networks. Police Commissioner Karen Webb condemned the violence as both brazen and a sad indictment of Sydney, adding, "This sickens me as it sickens everyone else in this state." Deputy Commissioner David Hudson identified the true driver behind the bloodshed: Sydney's booming illicit drug market. "This is really controlled and driven by the drug trade in Sydney," he said. "We are high consumers of illegal drugs in this city, and that drives profits up." According to investigators, senior gang figures outsourced contract killings to lower-level criminals, young men eager for cash and reputation. This method created layers of separation between the masterminds and the shooters, complicating police efforts to trace the chain of command. Internal power struggles. Within the Comanchero Motorcycle Club, Internal tensions were also rising. In 2021, senior members established the Commission, a ruling council designed to control the New South Wales cocaine market. The plan imposed a protection tax on anyone importing or selling cocaine, promising both price control and protection. However, the new structure only deepened internal divisions. Rival factions soon clashed over money, influence, and territory, each determined to control Sydney's billion-dollar drug trade. The Mastermind. For 2.5 years, one figure remained beyond the reach of Strikeforce Hackenberg, the alleged mastermind who planned every detail of Aura's execution. That changed on October 1st, 2025, at 9:15 a.m., when detectives arrived at a correctional facility in Silverwater, Western Sydney. They arrested a 29-year-old man already serving time on unrelated charges. He was taken to Burwood Local Court and charged with murder and knowingly directing the activities of a criminal group. Police allege that this man was the architect of the killing, recruiting the surveillance team that tracked Aura at Westfield, coordinating the theft of getaway cars, instructing the shooters, and financing the entire operation. Authorities believe he acted on behalf of a larger organized crime network, meaning Aura's death was not a personal dispute, but a calculated business decision. The killing was allegedly ordered to eliminate someone seen as a liability or threat. The fact that the suspect was already incarcerated raises critical questions. Was he directing operations from inside prison? How did he communicate with associates outside? These details are expected to surface during court proceedings. The man was denied bail, and if convicted, he faces a potential life sentence. The global scope of the Comanchero network. The arrest marked a major success for New South Wales police, but it also exposed the growing sophistication of organized crime in Australia. The Comanchero Motorcycle Club now operates internationally. In October 2023, Turkish authorities detained 37 full-patch Comanchero members in Istanbul during a coordinated global operation. In New Zealand, a 3-year investigation resulted in 137 charges against 41 members and associates. Police seized over 9.2 million New Zealand dollars in assets and uncovered a funding scheme that financed military-style training for members. Investigators discovered that a former U.S. Marine had been brought to New Zealand to train Comanchero members in combat tactics as part of a secret ghost team. This level of organization far exceeds traditional gang activity. The Comancheros have evolved into a transnational criminal enterprise operating with corporate efficiency and military discipline. The Australian Federal Police have confirmed that much of the Comancheros' drug supply enters the country through the Port of Vancouver, controlled by the Hells Angels East End chapter. Despite their supposed rivalry, the two groups cooperate when it benefits their operations. Assistant Commissioner Jared Taggart explained, "It's the ever-evolving business model of transnational organized crime. Their willingness to cooperate, even when they claim to be enemies, law enforcement strikes back." In November 2024, the National Task Force Morpheus launched a nationwide crackdown on Comanchero operations. The coordinated raids led to 33 arrests and 78 criminal charges, along with the seizure of firearms and ammunition, large quantities of cash and jewelry, significant amounts of methamphetamine and cocaine, more than $1.5 million in illicit tobacco and vapes. Despite these successes, authorities acknowledge that the battle is far from over. The immense profits from drug trafficking ensure a constant stream of recruits willing to risk prison or death for money and status. The murder of Marvin Aura on May 22, 2023, marked a turning point in Sydney's ongoing gang wars. The daylight execution shocked the city and triggered a massive investigation that ultimately led to 11 arrests. The capture of the alleged mastermind on October 1st, 2025, delivered a measure of justice, but it also revealed the scale of the challenge law enforcement faces. Organized crime in Australia has evolved into an international system, hierarchical, networked, and technologically advanced. These groups employ professional surveillance teams, contract killers, and sophisticated communication systems, sometimes even coordinating operations from behind bars. As long as Sydney remains one of the world's most profitable drug markets, the violence will continue. Every arrest creates a temporary power vacuum, sparking new conflicts as rival groups fight for dominance. The Comanchero Motorcycle Club, once founded in 1968 as a brotherhood of motorcycle enthusiasts, has transformed into one of the most dangerous and organized criminal networks in the Southern Hemisphere. With connections across Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia, and links to cartels in Colombia and Mexico, they represent a new kind of criminal empire. For Marvin Ora's family and friends, the arrests bring some comfort, but his death is just one of many in Sydney's violent underworld war. Strikeforce Hackenberg, the Criminal Group Squad, and Australia's federal agencies continue their work, aware that dismantling these networks will take years. Real victory will come not through arrests alone, but by dismantling the financial and logistical systems that allow organized crime to thrive. The case remains before the courts, and all defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty.